to start by asking about Len Badger. Club legend, passed away last night. There's been a real sort of outpouring across Sheffield United, and just wanted to sort of ask for your thoughts and tributes for Len.
Yeah, well, obviously, I never met Len, but I'm well aware of his history and affiliation with the club. Being a local man and playing 500 plus games, it's always sad when something like this happens. I know the club have put out a fantastic tribute to him, and everyone can be proud of him, his friends, family, everyone who knew him. But it's always sad because when you lose a figurehead or a hero of the club, it means a lot to so many people, and it's a reminder of how good football can be and bringing people together, So, yeah, it's a sad time. Everyone acknowledges the role he played in the club. And we're still playing, match days and things like that, so he'll be sorely missed.
Are you aware of any sort of tributes that have been planned for this Sunday at this stage?
No, I'm not aware of anything like that, no. So if they are, they'll be all sure in hand going forward. But like I say, I'm just aware of the tribute that's been put out, thanking him and obviously acknowledging all the great service that he gave the club.
In terms of team news, anyone back fit and available for this weekend that hasn't been at the Everton and Newcastle games?
Not yet, as it stands right now, Adam. We've just been resting up really and preparing the bodies. So tomorrow will be the day when I'm looking at everyone and making sure and making decisions about who's available for the squad. So we'll have to just wait and see. It's been two really big physical games in the first time we've had two in a week for a long time, and we've kept more or less the same team, so we'll just be assessing everyone the last 2 days and we'll see how everyone is tomorrow.
Given it's the last game of the season, I'm thinking of people like George Baldock. If there are any sort of slight issues, is it worth risking anyone with it being the last one?
If there's any issues, there won't be risk, but listen, the lads want to play, George wants to play, everyone wants to play, so everyone who's fit, if they're medically fit, and I'll pick from them, definitely. So, yeah, everyone wants to play, everyone wants to, as I said, and no one's shirking it, no one's backing away from it, everyone wants to play the last game of the season. But, yeah, we have got a big injury list as it stands, and there's lots of people we can't pick from, so I'd welcome anyone back.
How impressed have you been with Jack Robinson over the last couple of games, coming back and playing at left centre-back? I imagine the injuries probably cost him a bit more time in the team this season.
Yeah, probably, and yeah, I have been pleased with him. He had out a long time, a couple of complications which kept him out a bit longer, but he worked hard, and I thought it was only right that I put him in, and he's performed really well in both games. As I said, he's come back in, and it's a credit to how hard he's worked with the medical staff and himself in training that he managed to last 90 minutes and then 90 minutes again 3 days later. So yeah, been pleased with him, and he's one of the ones who's managing his body now through these last couple of games because he's determined to be fit and available for Sunday as well.
He seems to be someone that's added a little bit more balance from an attacking perspective. I'm thinking about the kind of overlapping role that Jack O'Connell played. Certainly in the last couple of games, it seems like you've been able to do that on both flanks, which hasn't necessarily been the case all season. Yeah,
definitely, he has. There's been other things as well. He's added a calmness. He competes well, and as I said, he's looked after himself. So he's been fit enough and strong enough to play in Premier League games, which is great. It's fantastic. Obviously, he's speaking about he set up the goal at Everton, which turned out to be the winning goal, and he knows the role. He's known it before. We're still encouraging those players to get forward. And he was trying again at Newcastle. Actually, last 10 minutes, I was telling him to maybe to be the one to stay because he was flagging, and we were the ones who were getting vulnerable on the counter attack. So yeah, he showed some real honesty and determination to keep going.
Daniel Jefferson called up to the England under-19s. Not been a bad few weeks for the lad.
Yeah, he's done well, but they're going to call him up. He stepped up to the Premier League, played well, scored a goal. I actually thought his all-round game was better against Newcastle than it was against Everton. Disappointed. He is disappointed. I'm not disappointed with him. He's disappointed about a couple of things in the box where he felt he could have had a goal. So we'll keep pushing little things like that, because for me, when he's being shown such progression at a young age over this last year, we have to keep pushing him, and he's taking it all in, and he's trying, and he's seeing the rewards for it. So we have to keep encouraging him.
Does the fact that he he's disappointed with things and he knows that and he's recognising that. Is that a real plus at his tender age?
Yeah, it's a plus, and it's very similar, as an instance, very similar Newcastle game to the goal he scored against Everton. And obviously he's felt what it feels like to score. He's seen the rewards when he does these right things and the detail in the box. So he knows how important it is now, so it's going to make him even more hungry.
How much will he and the other sort of younger lads that have been on the pitch or just been around the squad benefited from the last few weeks in terms of a Premier League experience around the first team?
Yeah, they'll have obviously felt it, which has been good. There's probably been more opportunities to train as well together since I came up, because as COVID restrictions have eased a bit, and we've just tried to manage it a little bit differently with getting them on the grass, because we're a team that's suffered heavily with that. We're a Cat 2 academy with Cat 2 facilities, but we're the only Premier League club as a Cat 2, you know, so we've been judged by Premier League standards. So other Cat 2 clubs, when they've been in the Football League Championship, have been able to get a cleaner and easier flow of players between the squads because it's not been as strict. We've not been able to do that until recently, so we've had to constantly manage and push and try and create ways to get better traffic, if you like, and a better flow of players between squads. One, because we need the bodies, and two, because it's the right way to work with younger players and try and get them that experience. So yeah, as things have eased and got a bit easier to manage that transition because of COVID, we've been able to get more opportunities in terms of training, and obviously some have had experience of being on the bench, some have got debuts, but they've not achieved anything yet. You know what I mean? I want to keep stressing this, and they'll be sick of me saying it, but they've not achieved anything. It's just a taste. They're knocking on the door, and the hardest transition you do with any young players is trying to get them into a team and keep them in a team.
In terms of yourself, Paul, as your sort of caretaker spell in charge, whetted your appetite for becoming a permanent boss again, either at United or elsewhere?
Yeah, nothing's changed in the short term. I didn't come here to be a manager. I came here to work with the young players, and I've really enjoyed it. I've had plenty to get my teeth into, which has been great. I've enjoyed working with the academy staff, Chris, Jack, Dell, all the support staff. It's not been the season we envisaged, myself and Chris, how we saw it probably working, because we've been in separate bubbles and contact's been over the phone or through a fence or through a window, you know. But we've worked really hard and I've enjoyed it. So long term, yeah, I will do it again. I know I will. If and when that happens, I don't know. But I'm happy with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I didn't come here to be a manager. I came here to coach and work with players. So and I'm happy doing that in the foreseeable.
Will there not be a tinge of disappointment if you don't get the job?
I've never once thought about. No, I've never once. It's been different because I knew it was quite a long time I'd be doing it interim and caretaker. The approach is different. I keep saying it. If I was going to nail my colours to the mast and I was coming in and saying, no, I'm not doing it caretaker, I will, but I want to know in 5 weeks you come in and you might change absolutely everything to try and get results, to try and change fresh things about. But that would have been a selfish approach, I feel. And as I said, I didn't come here to be a manager. I came in to work with the players. But what it has done, listen, I said to Tim before, it's allowed me to come in and give me best, build relationships with different people, because I was new in the door last week. So that's in terms of first team players, I knew a lot of them, but not all. First team staff, knew a couple of them, but not all. So I thought what it has done is allowed people to see how I work, what I do, and allowed the younger academy players to maybe get a bit more continuity through to the first team, which we'll try and continue to capitalise on. So there's definitely been benefits of me stepping up and doing it, for me going back and doing the other role.
With fans returning, do you feel that could give you an extra 5-10% to finish the season with at least a point, if not a victory, to go into the summer?
Yeah, I'd love to say yeah, I hope so. We are without doubt one of the teams who've suffered. I go back, I don't know how many times I've said this, but I remember watching the City game at home and Ollie McBurney flattened Diaz early doors, and Bramall Lane would have been, it would have gone up. The place would have gone up, the atmosphere would have been electric and everyone would have loved it. Instead, there was a squeal from Diaz and a yellow card for Ollie, and the game's flat again, you know. And that edge, if you like, that little advantage the fans could give us and how we wanted to perform, we've not been able to do it, and it's made it certainly more difficult for the players.
Because I'm sure you're aware that defeating the club sets a new record for a Premier League season of 30. I mean, as a motivation, does that in there to avoid that statistic?
Yeah, it is. Of course it is. But we can't go in there with any fear about statistics and things like that. It's pointless. The only one that matters is the goals. The same in every game, you know. Everyone loves stats. There was an interview of, I don't think he'd watched the game after the game the other day. He was just throwing stats at me, you know, and it'd be nice to just talk about football sometimes and for people to show a bit of knowledge about the subject they're quizzing people on, you know, but you don't always get that. But the stat that matters is the goals. We'd win 1-0, 2-1, whatever. We'd take a win. And that has to be his focus rather than, you know, being scared of avoiding things. And as I said, we know his fate in terms of where we're playing next season. But I have also spoke to players about it won't be any easier next season. There's 46 games instead of 38. But I'm positive if we bring the same intensity and work rate in what I've seen, and as I've said, there's only Leeds outrun the boys in the Championship and deliver that for 46 games, they'll be fine. They'll be fine because in other ways the Championship is not as strong as the Premier League, and we all know that.
How do you feel that the club, the players and the fans should reflect on this season and what has happened over the last couple of years in the Premier League?
Yeah, well, from a personal point, like as I said, I came in and I've been in a different bubble, so you could see the struggles from afar, and stepping in, feeling the weight of sort of 12 months since the first lockdown. But having been someone on the outside first and setting teams up against Chris's team and watching the progression from League One to the Championship, stabilising, then competing, then going up, then taking everyone on in the Premier League. Will it be a celebrate? I don't know, but I'd love it to be. Do you know what I mean? I think if it's not, we've missed an opportunity, both fans and club, because the story and what's happened has been fantastic. And then to have 2 seasons in the Premier League, I'd like to think that we can build from that and be in a stronger position next season if promotion is achieved. Be in a stronger position again in the Premier League. That's got to be the aim. No one can continue to keep going up and up and up. But how little blips, if you like, or troughs are managed in these situations are really important, because the next step needs to be forward again. As I say, if you'd have asked a few months ago, no one would have wanted this to happen, but it has. So it's how do we make the best of it, and it's going to be a new era, new season in the Championship, and we have to make sure we're strong enough to get up there and compete.
With that in mind, Sheffield United have obviously managed 2 years in the top flight. Burnley, it's a 5th in a row after going down to come back. Are they an example of what can happen?
I think so, yeah, 100%. So Sean's been fantastic there, hasn't he? So went up, came down, real clear way of playing and what their identity is to compete. Came up, stayed up, flirted in and around the top echelons, if you like, with Europe and things. But a well-established Premier League team who then started building the infrastructure away and gradually improving the squad. Fantastic new training facility again, which is going to benefit them, and it's there forever. There has to be some legacy. There has to be some reflection, if you like, and some proof of your time in the Premier League and build things. And that's my point. 2 years in the Premier League, Sheffield United now, we should be in a stronger position than the season we initially went up, and keep building on the pitch, off the pitch, to make you stronger. And you can be exactly like Burnley, become established in the Premier League.
Do you feel that the club has all the tools at its disposal to be able to come back up? It's now just about that decision making and getting things right, particularly this summer.
Yeah, if you're talking like playing wise and the squad, yeah, as I said, the evidence is there, isn't it? You look at the teams who come up, generally struggle, bottom half. Depends how well they recruit and invest. Those teams who come up, and the recruitment has to impact the 11. It's probably somewhere where we haven't been as good as maybe a Leeds United this season. Next season, you keep the team together. Again, the evidence is there. Look at the teams who are all up there competing. Keep the squad together. Why not? The boys, and then if we can keep building and making the group stronger beneath in the 23s and get through players into the squad that way, fantastic. And that's everyone doing the job then and driving the club forward.